Alright, it's Framer Mason, your local Las Vegas cannabis alchemist. We don't have time to mess around, it's not going to be so fun. We're going to talk about exactly what this recipe entails. So, you got to start with some salt. Now this salt, like I said, is imported from Italy. I know exactly where it comes from. It comes from the salt pans of Trapani and Marsala, which are rather primordial salt sources in that they were elevated very early as bodies of water and they dried up. So you take 1/4 cup of salt and you put it in something that's going to pulverize it without infringing on any trademarks. And it's just going to be real quick like this. You take that, which is very fine for salt, it's pretty fine, and you dump it in 2 liters of water. I like to use these spaghetti noodle glass jars with the lids that snap right on there, and it's a column of water. The shape of the water is very important in this case. And then you use a hand mixer and you put it down in there, and I use the low setting, and you just mix, mix, mix. After it's mixed once and it settles down like this jar here, which I did ahead of time, you'll have to mix it again and get all that salt to dissolve, much like you'll see in the 3rd jar. Once all the salt's dissolved, you're ready for the next ingredient, which is lye water. Now lye, you know from the movies, the mafia dudes take people out in the desert, throw a little lye on the body, and the body disappears. Well, that's not what we're doing. In fact, we water it down. This kind of lye is a food grade lye in that it is used in a very delicious and specific kind of Filipino noodle. That's why you can find it at an Oriental market. Wherever you get your lye, you certainly want to make sure that it's food grade. Don't drink it. Okay, what we're going to do instead of drinking it is we're going to, this is why we need the tech. Okay, here's the pH meter. So there's really no device that I can think of that we could buy to do alchemy that's quite as good as these rubber bands from broccoli. You remember the rubber bands from the broccoli. You just take off, everyone loves broccoli, and put it on your blender so you can hold your pH meter in place. Make sure it's set to pH, it's calibrated, and that the batteries are good. I like to mix it a little bit, let it settle so the air gets out, and then we start dripping. Now this is a tiresome kind of thing to do. It takes 80 to 120 drips to get 2 liters of salt water up to 10.75. Some alchemists would dictate 10.78. You can see that we're already to 10.06. And if you look at the drips, you can notice the speed at which I'm dripping. It's not a stream, not creating any hot spots. And we're at 5.7, 4.6. Now we're adding one clear liquid to another clear liquid. And what's happening here is salts are releasing individual atoms of gold, which are part of the molecule of this salt. But as we excite that with all the electrons from the lye water, those salts become unstable. .72, 10.76 is safe, 77, 78, and it'll go back down in just a moment. You'll notice that I've made a perfect shot from an alchemical standpoint. Now your technique's going to change quite a bit because you're going to let it set overnight. And what I like to do is after a half hour or so, you'll notice this stuff collect on the top. A lot of people say that's special. I believe it just has a little air in it. And if you give it a little bounce, it all precipitates to the bottom to join the other white powder gold that is already precipitated to the bottom. Once it all precipitates and condenses, you're ready for the wash. So what you do, don't wash it straight down the drain. Get yourself a 5-gallon bucket, put your aquarium hosing in there, hold the aquarium hosing in place with the lid, and just give it a little suck and shove it in there. You can see the white powder gold in the bottom of the jar. So this rinse process is done about 6 times per batch. You drain it, you fill it with water, fresh water, and you'll know that you're done because it won't taste like anything. And that's your white powder gold. Thank you for joining us for this. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Just turn it off.